from London. How's everyone doing? I'm going to wish everyone a happy Easter, even though we're kind of on the downward spiral now of Easter Sunday, but I hope everybody's having a really good holiday weekend. We're back. It's been a little bit of a break for us. I haven't been too well. And I want to thank those people that reached out to me and sent messages and have been there. Your support means so much. I'm not 100%, but I'm here, so that's a good thing. Val is joining us very, very shortly, so you just got to make do with me for the time being. How's everybody? It's lovely to see everybody in the chat room. I just need to put my glasses on to see you all. Hi Sandra, hi Alison, Colleen, Viking, so many other people. Welcome to the show. Now you know us on Wicked Women. We like to give you a good show, and we talk about a lot of topics that ladies, you know, especially relationships, marriage, sex, etc. And it's not often I meet someone in life that actually inspires me. In fact, more and more people do not inspire me. And I met this wonderful lady. Her name is Rose. She's from Macedonia. Now, Macedonia is many, many miles from the United Kingdom and the United States. And it's a country that we've heard a lot about, but I was not prepared for some of the stories I heard about the animal cruelty that goes on in Macedonia. Not only is this lady a single mum, she's also, she works and she goes out and helps every animal she can. And that's a lot. That's a lot for anyone to do. And I take my hat off to her, because being an animal rescuer is not an easy job for anybody. It's not an easy thing to do. You're going to see cases that just break your heart. So when I said to her, you know what, you should come on the podcast, she was like, oh, okay. And I was like, you know, because I think you have a story. You're very much an inspirational woman, and Val and I are very much about having an inspirational ladies on board. And I hope that when I bring her on, you guys will make her feel very, very welcome, because it's her first time on Wicked Women anyway. So I'm going to bring the lovely Rose in. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm fine. Thank you for the introduction. It was lovely. You almost made me cry. I was like, oh.
Well, it's really true. I don't meet many people that inspire me. And, you know, we got chatting because obviously I lost Henry in October. Yeah. And a lot of people say, oh, would you have another dog? Would you rescue another dog? So we got talking through you know, animal rescues. And then listening to you, I was like, wow, because the fact that you come from Macedonia as well, which a lot of people hear about, but we don't know about. And I want to talk to you about your story, because we've got three parts. You've got the Rose as the person, Rose as the mum and worker, well, actually four, and then the animal rescuer. So tell me a bit about you, Rose. Tell me a bit about you, and that brought you to where you are now.
Oh, well, I was born in the capital, in Skopje. I don't live there anymore. I'm here in Krusha. This is a small mountain town, which I moved to 3 years ago. My own choice. I just wanted a smaller place, to calmer place, you know, to raise my daughter Vivian in. I'm 38. All of my life I've been doing rescue, but not in the same intensity. Let's say maybe the last 10 years are the most. You know, it's like that part of my lifestyle. It's rescue is parallel to everything I do. So it's become more than a hobby, more than something I do. Occasionally, it's all the time. Even when I was pregnant, even when I when I gave birth, even when my daughter was 20 days old, it didn't stop. I was rescuing even then. And this is, she grew up in this kind of environment, yes, and I did as well, but not in the same way, because my mom was also sort of a rescuer. But back in the days in the 80s in Macedonia, it was, I mean, the animal awareness is still really low here. All Eastern European countries, same situation, but in Macedonia especially. So my mom was trying to save, but basically without any help of vets who weren't. There were vets, but they weren't as, interested in helping stray dogs or cats. So
Yeah.
she would do things on her own. But as times progressed and new medicine and new the rescue 10 years ago was almost non-existent here, but it sort of became a trend in Macedonia. So a lot of people became interested in it. Maybe they
Tell me,
started.
tell me, Rose,
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt there, but there's a slight time lag as well, just so you know. Tell me
Mhm.
about life in Macedonia, because for those of us that don't know about Macedonia, tell me, put the animals to one side just for 1 second. What is it life like as a woman in Macedonia?
Oh, this will be interesting. So, women are still underpaid, undervalued, and we still live in a society ruled by men, especially here. Um, oh, I don't know. It's tough. It's even tougher for women who are single moms or women who are married but are still single parents in a way. So we basically do everything. We have to be housewives, we have to be parents, we have to be everywhere. And aside of that, we cannot, financially exist and survive without the help of a man. If we work here, if we work in Macedonia, so we're
And
sort of
why is that?
pressured.
Why is
The pays are really low. So if you work for an outsource foreign um, office or anyone from abroad, it's easier for you to make money for a living as a single parent or as a single person, especially a woman. But if you work in Macedonia, you need to have like a whole, if you're on your own and you cannot work for someone who's from abroad and pays you a little bit more than the average pay in Macedonia, then you have to have like a whole um, team of people who will help you,
Mhm.
financially. And if you don't have these people, you don't have your family, or you don't have any partner, or any maybe I don't know, close friends that will help you, then you're done. I mean, it's impossible to survive. I'm lucky that I have a few close friends that are really helpful. I'm not saying financially, but I'm saying they've helped me morally, and have helped me go through a lot of things that I went through since I became a mom. And some are from abroad and some are from Macedonia. And I think this is why, because I developed these friendships, I was able to, fight and push through all the struggles that I went through, and I'm going through from time to time, especially when you're alone raising a child in this day and age, with all the
It's
struggles and
interesting that
challenges.
you're saying that Macedonia is very sort of male dominated.
Yeah, it is.
Is it
So,
very? I'm just going to bring Val in because she's just
mhm.
come along. Here she is. Hey, love. Val,
Hi.
this is the
Hi,
lovely Rose.
Hi.
nice
Nice
to
to meet
meet you,
you.
Rose.
Nice to meet you too.
Um, would you say that it's quite chauvinist still?
Yes, it is. Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
women, how much of a say do women have on a day-to-day basis?
Um, maybe in the larger cities, they seem to have more rights and more freedom. But in smaller places, more rural places, it's absolutely, I mean, almost none. Um, it's degrading to all the women, and
Yes.
I'm trying to sort of go beyond that, and because I will not allow that to be opposed on me, but I'm trying to make people aware that if we don't, raise our voices and we don't fight for our rights, we will never get out of this, um, loop that we're in. Um, and the fact that the children, I mean, the women that are raised to be obedient and to be servants, sort of, yeah, is part of the problem. So yeah, if that ends, if parents stop raising their daughters like that, I think this is when it's going to end. If we raise our voices, um, so far, not a lot of progress, especially not in the smaller towns, especially not where I live right now. I haven't seen. Mm, um, Yeah, I haven't seen yet a lot of women who are not afraid to speak their own minds.
Is there a
Yeah,
lot of violence against women?
yes, it is. I think still, and I think that's sorry to say, but that's part of the fact that the institutions are not interested in changing anything. Um, um, the non-governmental organizations are really helpful. They've helped me, for example, when I was going through some stuff. But mm, we are not feeling safe in this country, especially as women, and we don't feel safe even in even if we are in institutions, even if we report a violence.
Yeah.
Um, it's all in our hands. Nobody is interested in actually helping or actually protecting the women in Macedonia. Not only Macedonia, it's the whole Eastern European Balkan situation. There's been horrible events happening in the past maybe few months, maybe more, in the region and in Macedonia as well. Um, but if I don't want to get into details, if you don't want to hear about them, you
No,
can
it's
ask.
interesting because I think certainly Val would say from our countries, from the United Kingdom and probably from the United States, we have a lot more support. If
Yeah,
and even
we really
though
do.
it's still a society where sometimes you think, we're still women, we're still fighting for stuff. What would you say, Val, listening to that? Would you say that we don't know how lucky we've got it?
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
I think they, if I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think they are so set in that uh, past way of thinking
Yes. Hmm.
that to them it works. So why change it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, the brainwashing, the pressure that is put on women to not
Yeah,
complain, to not report, to not, even if they complain, they they're the ones that, you know, um, have done it, have attracted this attention, this violence, this
yeah,
whatever. So it's always the blame on the women, and it's
yeah,
And
um,
Rose, you're talking from experience because you and I talked about the fact that you had an abusive
unfortunately, yeah.
relationship, and Val and I both, sadly, in our time, as many other people watching this and listening to it, have had abusive relationships. Did you find, was there any support for you whatsoever, or you were on your own?
Um, not from not from lawyers or police or the support came from from a non-governmental organization that offered me a psychological help and also a shelter.
Yeah.
So yeah, not from the institutions that we're paying with our tax money, and not from the ones that you would expect to help. It wasn't. It's not something I would, like to go into details, but I would say that a lot of women that I know are emotionally and mentally abused, and they are not even aware they are. And if there's not any physical abuse, then they have no reason to report, complain, even if it grows into a physical abuse and it continues, then there's almost no one that is willing to protect you. And
Yes, because I imagine if you call the police, if you were to call the police, it doesn't sound like that. And I find that, as Val would, in 2024, in our countries, if you were to call, if it was to happen. So my heart goes out to you ladies over there that you don't have the support.
Yeah. Well, I was lucky. I did. And I'm actually on speaking terms with this person right now. So this was my closure. I reached out, and we months after, of course, when all the
Sometimes you need to do that.
Yes, I need it because I had a lot of anger. I had a lot of rage in me, and I needed to. Yeah, I needed to go through everything once again, even if it was painful and really stressful. But I did it, and I felt really, really relieved afterwards. But not a lot of victims survive, and not a lot of victims can or are able to or are allowed to reach out afterwards and get disclosure if they wanted to. There was a case of a man killing his wife and the mother of the wife, even though he was reported, I think, 5 times to the police, and they didn't even put him in jail after the maybe third report, nothing. There was a case of a man who live streamed, I think it was on Instagram, that was in Bosnia, I believe, or Serbia, I'm not sure. The man shot his unwedded wife in front of their child, point blank, shot her, and that was online. And he was also reported several times, and he was some kind of gangster, but the police did nothing. So they basically allowed for this person to.
So I think it does have a lot to do with who you know and how much power you have, what you can get by with. And that's the
Usually
same
the victims,
here as well.
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. But usually the victims are the ones who have least power, no backup,
Right.
maybe no parents, maybe they come from, um, traumatic childhoods, a lot of trauma from being abused,
Trauma.
from a lot of maybe dysfunctional families, maybe no family at all, maybe orphans, whatever. But people who are vulnerable and sensitive people, women who have even if they had self-esteem at first, then the abuser will ruin every little bit of self-esteem that this woman has. But
so the reason I asked you that is because I wanted to talk about Macedonia, as in the fact that this is what you're living with every day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? What You must be, and we know when you look outside your window what you're seeing every day where the animals are concerned as well. I know that you work full time. I know you're a single mum. I know your mum was an animal rescuer too, so you grew up with it, and you've now got a third generation coming up behind you who's into it. Tell me how bad it is out there for the animals, for the dogs, cats, etc.
I don't know if there's
I'm going to bring up some pictures as here while we're waiting as well. So carry on. I'm just going to bring up some of these pictures.
The last time that I read that it was counted, there were like 100,000 stray dogs in the capital alone, and we are a country of 2 million only, so it's a really small country. So I'm guessing the number of stray animals now is above the number of people who live in Macedonia. I'm talking about the whole country. The situation in the capital is a lot of dogs and cats, mostly fed outside on the streets, but they're not safe, of course, from cars, from mean people, from poison. The situation in the rural places, so villages or smaller towns with even less animal rights awareness, is beyond imaginable. So we see a lot of violence. We see a lot of cruelty. I don't know what I haven't seen. I mean, dogs who were shot. Someone using them as baits, hang dogs, beaten dogs, injured, invalids, handicapped dogs or cats, poisoned, trying to survive, like skin and bones, sick but never treated, dogs with owners who don't want to give them up, but also they don't want to neuter them, treat them, do anything to help the dog's well-being or cat's well-being for that matter. So I am sometimes in a difficult situation where I have to choose to if I don't want to get into an argument with this owner, I have to choose not to help the animal because I don't want to start a riot, and I have to think about the ones that I already have, because a lot of my neighbors have complained and threatened against my dogs and cats, because not a lot of people here like animals. They if they cannot use them, they consider them as pests. So cats and dogs, pests, of course. They're not pigs or something that they can eat, which is also I'm vegetarian. I don't want to, Um, um, so we see a lot of misery. Sometimes I am even afraid to leave my house, because every time I leave, I find another dog that was dumped, another cat that is in a really poor state, and I have to pick who I'm going to help, which is the worst part of the whole thing, because I cannot help everyone, all of them. 2 times a week in this town, there's like a market day where the villagers from nearby come and dump unwanted animals. So if I go to the market, there's always a new dog, a new cat, not so much, but dogs, a lot of dogs. Some are sick. We do have a lot of sick untreated dogs walking on the streets. Yeah, so the worst part about it is that I know I cannot help all of them, and there's a fine line between I have to be really careful how much I can bring in and help, because if I cross my line, I then become really frustrated, exhausted, overwhelmed, and then I cannot, pay attention to all of them. I cannot treat them as good as I want to, and that is not animal rescue anymore. That's like um, that would be neglect. So I have to, be careful how much I take, and focus on the ones that I have already, and then try to uh, get them adopted as fast as I can, so I can bring more in. I can open spaces for the new ones to come in. Um, and it's exhausting. It really is, mentally, emotionally, especially. I mean, sometimes I'm not sure how I'm like I'm not sure how I go through these things. I get I got used to the pain of seeing all this and the trauma, but um, I always, when I lose an animal, or when I know when I'm powerless, I think about the ones that I have, and if I try to, I always say, but yeah, I cannot take this one, but I can pay attention to the ones that I have and treat them well and get them adopted. And maybe if that goes fast, I can bring a new one that is in danger, and a new one, and a new one, and that goes into a circle.
I can. I was just going to say, Val. Yes, I can hear. Is that male voice? Is that with you?
Oh, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah. The thing is, in London, we have Battersea Dogs Home, which is and the Cats Home as well, and we have Dogs Trust, Cats Protection League, RSPCA, PDSA. We have all these organisations, which, don't get me wrong, they're not all perfect, and some of them, but the dogs have a home, a chance. You probably saw in the UK recently, a lot of people lost their XL bullies because the UK decided to ban them, and a lot of bullies sadly were either put down or sent off to Scotland or to somewhere else because they become a banned breed. Do you have? I mean, just listening to you, I'm sure everyone else is the picture as well. Do you have a lot of dog fights? Do you see a lot of fights in the street?
You mean fights between the dogs, or people fighting dogs?
No, like with dogs fighting each other, do you have to break them up? Do you find that there's more?
I don't see it a lot, no.
Okay.
Usually dogs who are outside, they each have their own territory, so they do not leave the territory, and a lot of and the dogs, outside dogs, don't come on their territory. So not often I don't see often dog fights or dogs coming into others' territory. So it becomes, I have been when I go outside, I have like a few dogs that are following me around because they're my friends, not because I feed them. It's because they're used to me, and I pay a bit of attention, and I cuddle them, so they like me and they follow me around. And sometimes they enter while they follow me around, they enter the territory of another dog, and they can become a little bit of, it can be a little rouse, but I immediately cut that, and I do not get I'm not panicking in those situations. I can easily, cut any potential fight that might happen, and it all goes smoothly.
I mean, over here we have a lot. We have a lot of dog fights. Like you'll see people say, I went to the park, my dog was on the lead, their other dog was off the lead, and my dog was attacked. And one of my dogs years ago was killed by another dog. And I never want to see that ever go through it again. I'm trying to bring up some of the pictures here, so I have to change us to see if this will work. And I don't know if it will, because I've not done this before. Yeah, that's not that one. Which one is it? Let's try this.
I did want to ask how the vet situation was. Do you have
yeah, that's a good question.
many or any or
Well, not in my town, I don't, but I have a really nice vet that had was working abroad, but now he opened his office. Okay, he opened an office in a town which is an hour and a half from mine. So I'm using him, and I have a few good friends in my capital, in the capital, in my hometown, in Skopje, which is further away, so it's difficult to visit and to bring dogs or cats there. But I usually call them for advice, and I tend to because I tend to have all the medicine that I need for emergency stuff, and I learned a lot of stuff through the years from the vets and from having lots of experience in how to deal with sick dogs. And I usually consult a few vets, and slowly but surely, vets are getting more informed and more better equipped. We didn't have X-rays, let's say. We didn't have there was only one office in the whole country that had X-rays. Then there was a few that had labs, but now almost all of them more professional, more bigger um, vet offices have all these things, which is a great thing because, yeah, it's really helpful, and we don't have to run around the whole country to just take a dog for an X-ray, do a basic, blood test, and it's getting easier. But also a lot of people, younger generations than mine. I'm 38, some younger people than I am are getting more and more interested in helping. So I think this is part of the reason why vets are thinking that it's a profitable thing to invest more in their
Wow.
offices.
Certainly in the UK, vets, as Val would say in America, vets are a license to print money. I'm just going to play. I've got two little videos here. I'm just going to literally show, and you'll be able to tell us. So this is one. I believe this is Lady. Let's just see if this works.
Let me.
That's Lady, right?
Yeah, that's Lady when I found.
So tell us about Lady. What happened to Lady?
Lady was someone's hound dog. There's a lot of hunters here, and maybe 70% of the dogs here are hunting dogs or mixes. So she was a hunting dog and probably was dumped, or the owner was not interested in having her anymore, so he just let her wander on the streets. And she had severe leishmaniosis, but like the ones that the skin was almost gone, and she was bleeding through her nose.
God.
And yeah, but I do have some experience with leishmaniosis, and it's not it's pretty common here, which is sad. But people do not protect their dogs from it, from the bites, from the sandfly. So I treated her with adrenaline up the nose, and I gave her. There's two different kinds of treatments for this. It's not something that goes away completely. She will always have the antibodies of the leash, but she can. But the disease is managed, with just a little bit of care and regular checkups. But other than that, if you catch it on time and are experienced or have a great vet that can help you, I had a great team of people that were advising me. So I gave her shots for a month, and yeah, and she recuperated. No, that was like 3 years ago, and she's still with us.
And I've seen her, and I've got a video of her as well. I'm going to bring up the other video
She's snoring in the back.
Snoring in the background. I've got another video here. Tell me about. It will go quiet while I play it. One sec. I mean, I'll play that just once more. The suffering that those animals are going through is beyond belief, because at the end of the day, we are this planet is for all of us, including the animal kingdom as well, which as human beings we tend to forget at times, and human beings think they have the right to treat them or ignore them whatever way they see fit. When you see that dog, and I know you can tell us about it, when you see that dog and you go past it every day and it's suffering and it's in pain and it needs help, and so many people will turn, you know, or they want to kill it or poison it. Tell us about that dog and the story with that.
I never went on a holiday, and that was the day when I decided to go to the beach, which is not really close, but never mind. And I took Vivi with me, and my then partner was with me, and we were driving, and he was this dog now named Askan. He was dumped next to the road in the middle of nowhere in the woods, and he was not able to stand up. Obviously, he was in a really bad condition. He was malnourished. He was sick with skin infections, and he was dehydrated. And we called the vets to pick him up because we had no room in the car. We weren't planning to, find such a dog, such a large dog. He's huge. And we called the vets, and the vets came on the spot and picked him up. And I think he was at the vets for 7 days and received antibiotic shots to treat the skin infection, because luckily it wasn't leash. So it wasn't a parasite. It wasn't something that will be like lifelong issue. And he was, believe it or not, he was, I think, a year old on this video.
Wow.
Maybe even less. Yeah. And then afterwards he was really unlucky. So when he was treated for his skin infection, then he had contracted a tumor on his reproductive organs, and he was treated with chemo. And then afterwards, when all this was treated successfully, he was neutered, and then he had ear infections that were really, really difficult to treat. And but he's fine now. He's with me, and my neighbors love him, which is the strange thing, because he's extremely calm, and I really want him to be adopted. He's fine. He's healthy. He's really peaceful and placid and kind, large, but such a sweetheart. Patient with all of the other dogs, cats, children, everyone. But nobody wants him because he's huge. He's like 45 kilos. He's big, and a lot of people think that bigger dogs tend to be more expensive. Maybe for food, but it doesn't mean that they will be
I'm trying to bring these photographs up because I know how Scotty does it, but I can't remember. Will not bring them up because I've got all these photographs that I want to show, but it's being difficult. For me, I mean, I'm just bringing up. You can probably see. I'm trying to bring up. There's really, you can't see them, sadly, which is it's so annoying me. But for me, I couldn't sleep I couldn't eat. If I know, like Val, if I went outside my window and my door every day, there were animals begging and desperately for help, I'd be taking them all in. And how you stay so calm and you know and not so emotional wreck. I'd be emotional wreck.
Oh my God. I'm extremely sensitive. I truth be told, I am on antidepressants. If I haven't been on antidepressants, I think I would have lost my mind by now.
Oh, that would make you go on them. It would have to.
Yeah, because I cannot without meds, I cannot, accept the fact that the world is so cruel. It's not only in Macedonia, it's not only outside of my window, it's everywhere. It's the whole world. So because I think I can feel the pain of any animal in
You're an
person.
empath. Yeah.
Yes, I am, unfortunately or fortunately, I'm not sure, but I think I
I
can feel
wonder
the
that
pain.
sometimes.
Without numbing myself in a way, I'm not sure I can be able to, go day to day and live and go to sleep and get out of bed. And yeah, I think I would lose my mind completely or just go so down, so depressed. But I think I'm a fighter by nature. I tend to, fight through whatever comes my way. And I I don't have the luxury to, say, oh, I'm just
Tired.
too tired
Yes,
to
because I met you when you were sick. You were actually sick when I met you, and you said, I've still got to get up. I've still got to do all the
Right.
animals. They rely on you. Tell me, share a bit of story about Mina, Socks, and Ollie, and tell us about the story behind these beautiful three, which we will show a video with these guys in it.
I got a call from my partner then that there was a man who found puppies in a tied bag in a dumpster. Someone threw them and meant for them to die by suffocation. And I didn't think about anything. I just went there and saw this. I think I have a video, but I'm not sure. I kept it. Maybe I deleted it because it was too traumatic. I saw these 9 puppies. Someone had the um, kindness to uh, take them outside of the dumpster, but not outside of the bag completely. So 9 puppies, one of them dead on the spot, 8 puppies alive and screaming, just been born, so 1 day old, maximum 1 day old, still with the blood on them, and so I picked all of them up, and I took them home. And I wasn't even, I had no plan. I didn't know how I will make it with 8 puppies because I'm on my own. And I didn't know if I can do runs on hour and a half, 2 hours to feed them. I didn't know if they will be able to be fed, they will be able to, start eating on their own. And um, yeah, the puppies in the first few weeks, they were back and forth between me and my ex-partner. Um, and then several died with him. Um, and then all of them were back at my place. And unfortunately, out of 8 puppies, only 3 survived. And those were the only ones who had the hound genes. Compared to the others who were, I'm thinking the mom was a hound and the dad was some sort of shepherd mix or shepherd dog, something large with longer fur. And the ones that were more hound-like, they had the stronger gene, so a stronger immune system, and they were able to survive. And out of these 9 puppies, only one female, that was Mina, who's now in the UK in foster care, and 2 boys, Socks and Ollie. And yeah, they survived the first 40 days, let's say the critical days. They opened their eyes, they started walking, and after they were first immunized, they were just thriving and thriving, and they got big and playful and happy.
They have. I mean, I've seen Ollie. He's a and Socks and Mina.
You saw them all, yeah.
And you've also Montana and Salem, who we're seeing the video as well. What is the story with Montana and Salem?
Yeah, Montana, I saw that was Montana and Salem were the 2 one of the 2 puppies that were dumped on the market day. I first saw Salem. I fed her and I couldn't get her out of my mind. And I asked some of the people, is this dog someone's dog? Because a lot of people tend to, leave the dogs on the streets, even though they have supposed owners. And they told me it's no one's, they just dumped her. And there's another one, they said it's probably from the same litter. And I'm like, but these puppies have no chance of survival. There's cars over there. There's a lot more people. They will be kicked around. They will be maybe, injured in some sort of way. And a few days afterwards, I asked my neighbor if he can give me a ride, and I picked him up like in a 20 seconds. We did it in 20 seconds because they were so trusting, which was really easy. Usually, and they were not traumatized because they were not on the streets for a couple of days. If they stayed for longer, they wouldn't be able to trust me, and I wouldn't have been able to pick them up, take him home, and it would have been a disaster. So I picked him up, and yeah, later the 8 puppies from Predator came, and I wasn't even paying attention, not paying attention, but because Montana and Salem were older and not as fragile, I didn't put them. I didn't post them about them. I didn't promote them as much. And now I'm trying to do this because I just want them to not grow up here. I just want them to be adopted as soon as possible and trained. Someone can pay attention to them, devoted time and effort, and train them a little bit. I cannot do it because I'm only one person, and it's 20 dogs right now with me.
Rose, remind me, how many animal rescuers are there in Macedonia right now?
Oh, I don't know the exact number, not even close number, but I'm guessing the ones that call themselves rescuers and the ones that are that are having organizations, I'm guessing 200, 300 organizations or individuals who are doing rescue, but I'm not sure how most of them work. I'm not following anyone's work. I have a couple of close friends that I work with and I trust, and they also work like me. There's only one person, and they work with smaller amount of dogs, and they keep them in their homes. It's no kennels, no crates, no cages, nothing like that.
Do you I was just going to say to you with this, because why is it countries, Cyprus, Greece, Romania, even Bulgaria in some ways, Macedonia, all these countries, Iran, Iraq, all these kind of countries, why do they have the mentality towards animals and treat them like this? Because obviously we're over here, United States, United Kingdom, Canada, New Zealand, etc. We have our cases of cruelty, like Val would say, like there's cases of cruelty over there, of course.
No.
But it isn't like we're seeing them on the street. And, you know, I know a lot of animals get dumped
It's
in the
behind
United
closed doors, sort of.
But,
Yeah.
but why is that? Why is this mentality, do you think? And there's so many animals, because Romania, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Greece, why is it from these areas, countries?
Poverty. People are culture, poverty. People are trying to survive. They're trying to. They're fighting for their existence, and animals are just not important. And in the Eastern European countries, and the more eastern you go, you will see less and less respect to anything, even humans, even human beings, but anything else, else that is alive, absolutely, their lives don't matter at all.
Do they
It's
treat
still
cattle the same way, livestock, cattle the same way?
absolutely, yeah.
And
Do you
yet
think?
sorry, Val.
Sorry. Do
And
you
yet
think a lot of it has to do with if they cannot afford to feed them, they feel like, okay, well, you know, they're better off if I turn them out so they can maybe find food if I'm not able to feed them.
They try to use them maybe for hunting, maybe for breeding them and selling them, or whatever whatever the reason. And when they see that these dogs are not useful anymore, or when they're not interesting for the kids as playthings,
Yeah.
then they're disregarded. It's not always about money, but I'm speaking in general. This
Yeah.
is why animals are disregarded and considered something, something we eat and use. Otherwise, is just unwanted, and it shouldn't exist.
I can understand that, because when COVID hit and a lot of people got extra dogs or cats because they were at home all the time,
Yeah.
and then they went back to work, and then they were like, oh, I've got this animal. And a lot of people also couldn't financially afford to get their animal insured, and they would get sick. And then the vet bills there is no legalization in the UK to say to the vets, you cannot charge any more than that. There is nothing. So basically, when you go to a vet over here, they can charge you whatever they like, you know.
I know.
There is, and they're trying to bring something into the UK to say, look, you know, people just can't afford it. So a lot of people dump their animals. Battersea, PDSA, Dogs Trust. And you can imagine how the Dogs Trust was, because they actually will not put, their motto is, we will not put a healthy dog down. And all of a sudden they had all these XL bullies turning up on their doorstep, and they were like, you know, we don't want to put them down. So a lot of them were sent to Scotland, who is now banning XL bullies.
Because they have too many.
Because obviously there is this mentality with a lot of people that have, sadly, the XL bully, that big dog attitude. Don't keep them trained. They're not on a harness or a lead, and you know, there was, you know, it happens. I have a video which I'm going to share. We are going to go into Afterglow, and then we're going to continue this. But I want to share this video, and I'll be playing this video quite a few times, because these are some of your babies that that are looking for a really nice home. And I'm going to bring these guys up, and you'll be able to tell us about them. But it's going to go quiet while I play it. Let's just bring it up. So before I go into the afterglow, I want to talk more about your organization or your rescue, and to say that all these animals are available for rescue to the United Kingdom, to Europe, and indeed America, if we can get them there. I should see there's no reason why they cannot be rehomed in America. After all, they were bringing animals from Iraq and Iran over to the United States, and from China as well. So when you look at those animals, they look so healthy, so happy. And I know Lady was the one with the pussycat. Val, did you see Lady with the pussycat? And when you see that video of her to how she is now, that's because Rose has done this. And you're such an inspiration. And I don't, from a woman over here like Val must be, we're frustrated that we can't, we can only do what we can, because even visiting Macedonia is not easy to get. It's a visa, isn't it? I think, to come over there, isn't it?
Yeah. I need a visa to come to the UK and to the United States.
We would bring you in a heartbeat. I'm just going to carry on, and let's just go to Afterglow, and then we will carry on with this chat. 1 second. There it is. You should be so proud of yourself, Rose, because thanks to you and the love and care that you give, as do many rescuers around the world, those animals are looking healthy and happy, and they have a chance of happy ever after. I can't imagine to be beaten, to be shot, to be poisoned, to be tied up, to be trapped. And we see videos of cages, trying to desperately get out of the cage, in these terrible pounds. And I think your page is called Save the Stray Angels. And people can find your page on Facebook, Save the Stray Angels. And I would ask everybody that's watching this to go and look for Save the Stray Angels, add them. And also Mina and Socks and Ollie and Salem and Montana were the last 5 on that video. These are all young puppies that are looking for homes. And Mina and Socks, so the black and white puppies, they're in the United Kingdom. They just came here recently. Montana and Salem and Ollie are still in Macedonia. And you can you know that as fast as you get those off, and hopefully a home, you know there's going to be some more coming in to take their place. And it's like you also donations. There are people can donate to you via PayPal, bank transfer. We can come up with all that details, and also people can sponsor your animals. They can sponsor these dogs. And Montana and Salem, and those are the last two doggies that we saw. I know that they would love to have a sponsor, someone who, to keep an eye on them. And also they need a home. They need a very safe home. So if anybody's watching this that has any space in their home, you don't have a web page. I know you don't have a web page, do you, Rose? Which might be something to look at, because I think people would get
need someone to be able to run that and to create it. I don't have the energy and the time.
I'm sure we could look at doing something like that. And I'm sure it just blows my mind. I mean, Val, looking at those pictures of the healthy animals, what comes to your mind?
I mean, of course, I'd like to have, a whole lot more of Rose, just duplicate her and get her out there. But
clone me.
But I the way I look at animals, I can't imagine anybody not looking at them that way. So it's hard for me to understand why a lot of the abuse and all that happens, because I tend to think, how could you not feel the same way? How could you do that to something? Another living creature. But there's so many that were raised to not look at animals as anything other than just, like you said, pests or something that can profit them.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's more than I know of in the US, but it seems like we've come quite a ways on like prosecuting animal abuse and doing a lot more for that side than just saying, oh, it's just an animal. We've come a long way, I think, from the way we used to be. And I think it just hasn't, maybe it just hasn't got to the other countries yet.
It will be a long time before we are even close to the Western.
Yeah. Now, is it Hungary that, the animals have free reign? Where is it? Is it Hungary?
What do you mean free reign?
I'm talking people will feed them on the street. They'll go into the stores.
Yeah, there are a few countries. There are a few countries that do open up their shops.
Everybody takes care of them.
But I think the further you go across into Europe, so Cyprus, Greece, even Italy, and I mean, I remember going on holiday to Rome,
even Italy,
and they are cats everywhere on the street, and people just go on holiday and they throw their animals out the door and to basically cope with it, and how they're not. So many are not run over. I don't know. Italy was a shock to the system. I have never been to Spain, but I have heard some horror stories coming out of Spain. But I think countries like Denmark and Netherlands,
they have the least. I don't know if they have any, but I'm not going to go ahead and say that they don't have any stray animals. But I think
they're more kind.
They've done they enforced the laws of neutering. All dogs and cats must be neutered.
Oh,
Here,
I was gonna
we don't
say
have
that
this
that
law.
could cut out a whole lot of the devastation.
Yeah, but here, even if we had these laws, who will be enforcing them? Nobody
Well, that's the
cares.
thing, because nobody's going to do it. And that's the problem. Those countries
Yeah.
you're saying want to do something about it, where Macedonia, and we're talking about Macedonia here, wasn't Macedonia part of Yugoslavia around that area?
Yeah.
And for such, it's not a Christian country. Is it a Muslim country, Macedonia now?
No, it's a Christian country.
It's Christian, okay.
Orthodox.
But so you're not doing Easter today, are you? I don't think you
No,
remembered you saying
ours
that.
is, I think, at the end of April. I'm not sure. I'm not religious, so I don't follow.
I've got Michael outside who wants to come on a minute, and but it's like I wanted to say to you, like, what for you is the one case that you'll never that haunts you the most? And I know you've seen a lot.
Oh, it's not only one. It's not only one. I have a few that have broken my heart completely, and I will never forget. So I'm dreaming of a tattoo that will memorize them. But even if I don't get that tattoo, they will always be with me. Oh, of course, the ones that are gone. I had. Uh, First, I'm going to start with I'm going to do brief stories of each of them, but I'm going to start with a happy story with a happy ending. So the first dog that I fell in love with and I cried when I actually got him adopted was Freckles, and that was in 2016, I think. Found him, and he had a huge bump on his leg that turned out to be he was hit by motorcycle. So parts of the motorcycle were embedded in his torso, and we thought it's like a lump or some sort of cancer, but it wasn't. It was just parts of plastic inside. When he was opened, they took them out and they stitched him, and he did fine. He recovered really nicely. And one day I was walking him, and an old man, it was early in the morning, an old man stopped and asked me, is this dog, did you find this dog there and there? And I was like, yeah, he's my dog. I live in a some far village far away from Skopje. um so he had two, a female and a male, and this was the male one. He told me that he was hit by a motorcycle, and that some ladies brought him to Skopje and dumped him on the streets for someone to find him and help him. Never mind. This man was telling me he has now stage 4 cancer, throat cancer, and the only thing he wants to see before he dies is for this dog to be happy and healthy and loved. And I said, it's already done. He's happy, healthy, and loved. And he gave me his number. Actually, I never called him, but never mind that. I got him adopted. Back then I was with another rescue. There's still we created a cat rescue that actually turned out to be a dog and cat rescue, but never mind. And we got him adopted in the Netherlands, and he's still fine, alive, and well. That's the positive one. With the next one is Juno. That took a piece of my heart. Juno was a healthy, small-sized 1-year-old pup. I got him adopted in the UK, and a week afterwards he died. And I was being blamed for it, but he was just fine when he left, and he was always healthy and happy. We didn't have any issues with him. And later we realized that he was accidentally poisoned with the warming pill. I think it was Bravecto. I'm not sure if it's pronounced Bravecto, whatever. So I'm strongly against Nexgard, Bravecto, and all those pills that treat external and internal parasites and are really toxic. even if the dogs don't die right away, they can have long-term liver damage and a whole lot of health issues in the future. So he died, and the lady who, I think he was fostered, he was still not adopted when he died, and the lady was so traumatized by the whole experience. She sent me the urn with the ashes, and I still have it with me. So that's Juno, and the last one, maybe two of them, but the last one is Mina, and she had leishmaniosis. Um, sorry, Mila, she had leishmaniosis, and I could save her. Her kidney melted, so she was defecating
Rose,
for 15 days
your Rose, your signal's coming and going. I just need to bring you back because we didn't hear that. Are you still with us?
Yes.
You're sort of frozen right now. So tell us what you were saying about Mina. Mina, what happened to Mina? It's coming and going. Hope we don't lose her.
Yeah, it's freezing up.
Yeah, she can always call back in. You can always call back in. Michael, listening to some of these stories, have you ever been to Macedonia?
I've been through a lot of them countries, and like I said, human life has a very low value, much less some innocent, helpless pet. I went through the gamut of emotion. You can probably see me backstage. When I start squirming, it went from being pissed off to hurt, to tears, hearing how the animals are treated and how nobody cares. These two here sleep in the bed. They get fed twice a day, and they get really well taken care of. And I know how much he thought of Henry and all the efforts that, we made to keep him healthy, and to see things just discarded with no value really, really ticks me off. I'm ready to put boots on the ground because it really makes me that angry.
I think also as well that in 2024, to not just hear about the animal side to thing, but as a woman, having without any support or protection is a shock.
No, it really is. Well, like I said, Wendy knows my backstory a lot, and like I said, between that and the animals, and it's I just don't want to see nobody bullied because of their sex or whatever, and you can tell, I'm a little pissed right now, a lot, really, and it's it's horrifying to me, even in New York now, we got people going around hitting innocent women in the face, and I wish
I heard about that as well.
I wish somebody would do it in front of me. I really do. It just.
Do you find that there are a lot of male animal rescuers in Macedonia, Rose?
No.
Really? None?
No, not maybe three people out of 300.
Wow.
Yeah, men do not, in general, are not equipped with the strength and definitely strength to go through all of this that we're dealing with, and then the care, the nurturing, the being empathetic. No. As I said, we live in a chauvinistic society still, so it's degrading. Even it's they're not. I mean, I'm speaking in general, of course. There are wonderful examples. I mean, that are not like this. Wonderful people that I've met that are really kind, but there are men who care for animals, but they will never be able to work in rescue because it takes a lot from you. Yeah, I think we do suffer from slight PTSD being in rescue, especially for decades. and men cannot deal with us. I knew a few people who are dealing with it, but mentally, I'm not sure if they're okay. So,
You know, when you say PTSD, I'm not surprised because the trauma you must see. Now you're back because we can see you. Can you tell us about Mina, because it cut out?
About Mila, yeah. Mila was a small pincher mix who had leishmaniosis as well as Lady, but hers was not treated. I mean, I didn't get her on time, so it damaged her kidneys really badly. And the last 2 weeks of her life, she was vomiting and defecating blood and refused to eat or drink anything. So that was the first time I euthanized a dog with leash, and it was a devastating thing to do for me. And I'm gonna cry right now. So yeah, I never forgot that experience, because I don't know, she was really, really, she took a part of my heart. So that's, yeah. That's one of the stories that one of the dogs that I will never forget. Cats as well. I've had a few cats that died. I had a cat that died from stomatitis. I couldn't save her. She just didn't respond well to any of the meds, and full teeth extractions was not an option because her stomatitis was in the back of her neck. And even if we did removed all of the teeth, she wouldn't have been saved. So, but yeah, I have a lot of stories. I don't want to get into all of them.
I'm just putting up here some, which is your link, which it will be on there, of you know, your PayPal and it's your bank account number as well. But it's like, if everybody just went and donated something, it would buy food, medication, or something. And I want to bring up about Mina and Socks and Ollie, these three that were almost suffocated and survived. And now they're in the UK. And tell them how you bring them. Tell them how they leave you, how Mina and Socks left you to come to the United Kingdom.
Yeah, we do. There's the transport that takes them from Macedonia to the UK. There are several different transport companies, Pet Transport, Live Pets. They transport dogs in vans, so it's done by land. They go through Macedonia, Serbia, Croatia, Austria, Germany, France, and then they go on the ferry and they come into Gatwick, deal with DEFRA paperwork, and they start delivering, drive around the clock, night and day, and they do home deliveries. They bring the dogs to the new owners or the fosterers, to their doorsteps, basically. And the rescues or the adopters pay for this service. There are a few companies that are right now driving monthly, every month, 2 times a month, sometimes 3 times a month. So a lot of importation from Macedonia, Romania, and Eastern European countries. I don't know where all those dogs are going, but a lot of dogs are being adopted in the UK right now, and in the countries in the European Union, because Macedonia isn't part of the European Union. So we have a lot of dogs that go to Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, sometimes even Scandinavia. But the easiest right now is to get them adopted in the UK and the countries that I mentioned in the European Union.
And obviously, if someone in the United States or Canada or
it is. It's possible. It's possible to send them, but it will be they will travel on a plane of course. So it will be more expensive and more complicated, but paperwork wise, it's not, because for a dog or cat to be imported in the United States, they only need one shot. That's a rabies shot, and for a person to go get a visa or move to the United States, we need, I think, 14 different shots.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's an interesting story, but it's paperwork wise, it's easy, it's smooth. The logistics of travel is not as easy as, of course, the countries that are within the reach. I mean, they can travel
Yeah.
on the land, and it's cheaper, of course. But
Yeah.
with a volunteer maybe who travels to the United States, it can be really doable. It can. I've seen a lot of people that are.
Well, yes, because if
Um,
they're bringing dogs from China and Iraq
mm,
and
it's
other
doable.
countries, they can bring it from there. And it's like, what I want when I met you, I was like, we need to have you on Wicked Women, because people need to realize in our very lovely homes in the United Kingdom and the United States, etc., how good we absolutely have it. And that
Yeah.
in 2024 in Macedonia, you're not part of the EU. The medical care, the health care, the vet care, the whole system is not
It,
good at all. Now,
it's
I'm sure there's
failing
lovely.
completely. It's even worse than when we were in Yugoslavia. It's horrible. I'm trying to change my daughter's last name, and they, instead of changing it, they named her completely different. They changed her first name into a male name, and it takes me more than 4 months to fix those issues. So nothing works, and it's frustrating. And on top of everything, you have to deal with existence, paying for basic stuff, basic
And
needs.
how you do stuff? Because I'm going to ask is financially, because I'm asking people to donate to from PayPal, and I'm going to put up your PayPal here in a minute again on its own, so people can do PayPal wherever they are, whether it's United States, whether it's Canada. I would ask everybody, look, I know money's really tight, but even if you send something, it will really help Rose help
Anyone.
other animals. So how do you survive financially with this, Rose?
In terms of rescue, we've always
Yes,
been,
and day to
yeah.
day, yes.
The rescue has always been, we depend on donations. We don't get any, we depend on sponsors, people who have following me, who have been following my work for years, and they trust in me. They are sending a little bit of money each month, and that's how we cope. New adopters that are falling in love with the cause, they also like to send gifts, or sometimes the donations that come are not in money, but they are in food or in anything that we need. And I accept everything, any amount, any gift that they're willing to send. I need and accept, and is really welcomed and used. Mm. So people can send, I mean, it's not easy and it's not cheap, but people can send goods as well as money. Um,
I was going to
how
ask,
we
how
cope?
hard is it to get packages sent to you?
Not from, yeah, from the United States, it's hard, but from the countries in Europe, it's easier. Um, you can send them by mail, but you can also send them through the transport companies that are traveling and delivering dogs. They are willing to bring donations back. So if the people who want to donate goods and not money on PayPal and on the other accounts, they can contact me, and we can try and do the logistics, and the transport companies, when they come back and when they deliver the dogs and come back, they can pick the stuff up for me. A lady from Germany is also helping by sending things to the rescuers in Macedonia, and food and toys and beds and stuff like that. And she pays the transport, or sometimes we pay the drivers a symbolic amount for them to, you know, bring the stuff to us. So yeah, we find ways to get the things to us. We try to be as you know, resourceful as we can be. What else? Yeah,
How
so
many animals do you have right now in your home?
right now 20 in my home.
In your home.
Yeah, I keep them all in my home. I don't use kennels or crates. They're divided in packs that they go along with. The little ones that I saved, the last ones that I saved, are in one room. The mother with a penetrated neck, with the, that was tied really tightly, and her neck snapped. She is in a different room with her daughter. The rest are in sections, also different rooms, and they're outside playing in the yard. Some are taken for walks. The ones that are lead trained, or sometimes with Lady and my one and permanent, the only permanent one that I have, I can take him out of lead, and they will come back.
And is that
That's how
cats as well as dogs?
I've had I started with a lot more cats than dogs, and then I switched to dogs because here in this town particularly, dogs are more in danger. Cats not so much. There are a
Why
lot
is
of cats.
that? Why is that you think that cats are not so in danger?
They're not as visible. Dogs are more visible. Cats, if they are injured or if they are dumped, they will hide. You know, they will not seek help. They will hide. They will die hiding. They're not as visible as and they're not as trusting as dogs are. Dogs are easier to find, spot, take, treat, whatever.
I
So
was going to say that too. Cats probably run from you a lot
yeah,
more than dogs do.
I'm
Dogs are
feeding a
too
lot of.
trusting.
Yeah, cats are not trusting. I'm feeding a lot of cats outside, but only one I can touch, and she is someone's cat. She has an owner, but she comes to my yard and I feed her, and the dogs are really fine with her. But the other ones are completely not trusting, which is okay because it saves them from a lot of abuse from people. If they're
I'm just gonna bring up our introductory video because it's got the cat that you're feeding, the white cat that you're feeding. It also shows Lady. Lady's the dog that you'll see in this video that is standing, and she looks just so ill. And who's the big dog with the front sore paws?
the one that was lying down.
Yeah.
That's Ascon. That's the second one on the pictures on the video that we have.
So I just want to bring this up again because to just remind, because we've had the after, I've shown the after, but I want to bring this up again just so you can see the animals. think it's safe to say after listening to you and watching that promo again, it comes home more because now people know what we're talking about. And it's the fact that when you see Lady, how bad she was, and I know she's sitting there not far from you, is she? She's asleep.
I can try and
Can you show us, Lady?
Yes.
With packages being hard to get into Macedonia from the U.S., is there a link that somebody can mail it to so they could send it on in by land?
She should be able to take it. This is Lady. Hey, let's bring Lady in. Make this the larger one. Let's see if I can do that. Hang on. I got to find which one it is. Let's hang on a second. Let's bring that out. And let's move me for a second. She's absolutely adorable, isn't she? Look at her. Now, tell us about Lady. How old is Lady? She's looking for a home. What dog is she? What breed?
She's a hound, obviously. I'm not sure if she's a mixed one. She's size medium. She's about I'm gonna let her fall asleep in my lap. She's about 8.5 years old, maybe 9. We're not sure. I found her 3 years ago, and she is with me since. She was treated for leishmaniasis, and she's in a really good health.
Considering that was the picture on the promo of her, Val.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She looks like a happy girl now.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I mean, she looked like a picture of health, considering
hit the
budget you're living on, and the life that you're living on. You are an angel yourself, because you are bringing these animals what you can back to life. And that, I don't ever underestimate the gift that you have, because animals sense that anyway. And we need more people like you, Rose, in every single country, but especially in countries like Cyprus, Greece, Romania, Macedonia, etc., etc. These countries need more people, and there are, but unfortunately, there's no spaying, easy spaying where they catch her and release, so you're getting more puppies, more kittens. And at the end of the day, I know in America they've got I think the catch spray and release. We don't
TNR.
so much.
Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, they got it there. Look at Lady. She's beautiful. Look at her. Yeah. Lady. She's so gorgeous. I mean, I'm a sucker for a hound dog, but
you know what happens when you whistle? The other one will be here.
Can you bring her closer to that? Can she get any close? Oh my goodness, look at that face. Now, how long has Lady been with you?
3 years now.
3 years. And no one's wanted to give her a home?
Because she has leash. People are not informed about what that means, and not a lot of vets in the UK as well. So they're not willing to take a dog who's positive on leash, even though it's not something that people should be scared of. It only takes me a couple of pills a day to keep her kidneys healthy. And it costs less than £5, I think, a month. So it's nothing to be, nothing to be scared of. But a lot of people are not really informed, and they don't wanna adopt a sick dog or a dog with a permanent diagnosis. And this is why she stayed with me for so long. I didn't, I had no hope, maybe a little bit of hope, but not a lot of hope that people will notice her. So in most of the people who are willing to adopt, they're looking for small, young, small sized and young.
Everybody wants a puppy.
Everybody wants a puppy, or everybody wants a small sized dog. And with hounds or Shepherd mixes, or maybe Belgian Shepherd mixes, or nobody wants them. They're considered not as attractive, not as appealing, and difficult by. I mean, the difficult to train, or it takes a special kind of person to understand hounds, and
I
Belgian
think
Shepherd
you are a very special kind of person, Rose. I mean,
I've
make
never,
note.
when I hear that someone who has two dogs cannot manage them, the two dogs,
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never had. Of course, I've had issues, but I've never had like something so extreme that I had to remove a dog from completely from my house, or a dog fights where the dogs would kill each other.
Mhm.
Never happened. How do and I'm not even, engaging as much. I'm not even trying. I just understand which dog is okay with which. I just tend to, combine them in groups that I can, that are okay with, and that's
Tell us a bit
fine.
about yourself, actually, because Michael came up with a good question, and I'll come back to that. But it's like, do you actually get a social life? Do you have a love life? Like, do you have anything at all like that?
I know yeah, I have a partner right now, and he's really he is really proud of me, and is really proud of my rescue work and who I am as a person. But
No, you should
it's
be.
not it's not easy to date a rescuer. It's not. Um, I'm swamped with errands and work, and constant cleaning, disinfecting, vets back and forth. Uh, so a lot of my time and energy are invested in the rescue. And I also have a young child, so my um, personal life and love life are, not, I mean, in the background, so to speak. I'm trying to get out as much as I can, and socialize as much as I can, and it's usually during the day when I have some an hour or two of free time. But yeah, I've the last time I went on a holiday with uh, a weekend when we saved those 8 puppies, but before that it was 10 years that I haven't been on a proper holiday. It's because I always have so many animals depending on me and my home that I don't even go to holidays. Um,
And is there anything that you can do, like start a charity, or what can people learn about how charity works in Macedonia?
if you start a charity, I mean a legal charity, I've already been in a charity like that. You pay a lot of taxes to the state, and everything goes through all of the donations are
Can I bring you forward to your microphone more a bit as well, Rose? That's better.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. So a lot of charities pay a lot of taxes that are taxes on the donations that they receive. If they receive over a certain amount a year, they have to pay taxes, even though everything is a donation. The banks, they charge, I think, 10 euros or 10 pounds per transaction for everything
Wow.
you receive. So yeah.
What about
and
PayPal? That goes directly to you, does it?
no, the PayPal doesn't go directly through me to me, because we as Macedonians, we cannot receive money through PayPal. Yeah, we can only
Wow.
pay through it. It's only one way with PayPal. So I'm using the PayPal of another organization in the Netherlands. They are called Angel's Choice, that I've worked with since 2014. And they are giving me their PayPal. Yes, That's them.
That's the
It just
one.
shows Netherlands. There are receiving donations throughout the month, and once a month at the beginning of each month they send the whole sum in bulk on my personal account, and that's how I get donations from PayPal. Other than that, I have a Wise account, and people from all over the world can donate directly to me. And usually, it's you don't have to have a Wise account. You can only use your bank account, and
Can they pay you direct into your bank account and you'll get
yeah,
that money?
yeah. That goes directly, but the PayPal does not. I mean, all of the donations are accounted for. The lady who's behind Angel's Choice, she sends print screens from all of the donations that come from me, so I can, show proof to all of the people who donate that their money has been received, and I have them, and I will use them for the
Mike, what was
cause
that
and
question you wanted to ask, Rose?
Since it's so hard for packages from the United States to come in, is there like a middleman that we could ship it to, say in Eastern Europe, from the United States, like a drop-off point? In a previous life, I was a logistics specialist for the United States Army, so I know how to get around different ways. Like if they don't, because I know if me and Wendy send things back and forth, a lot of times it gets caught up in our air customs, which is not as hard as Macedonia's.
Mm-hmm.
So, what would be
No,
the way if I wanted
it's
to
very
send you
to ship.
medicine?
If you are willing to ship from the US, it's better to ship to the UK, to say the organizations that I work with, friends that I have in the UK, and then they will send the goods through the transport companies. I think that's the safest bet. To send them from the US directly to Macedonia through the post office, snail mail, it will take months and maybe it will never arrive. We don't have
Yeah.
any guarantee that the things will arrive. That's why.
No,
Yeah.
we still got her.
Yeah, I think she's still here. Rose, I mean, I know you're in, it's just gone, I know I'm keeping you up. It's 10 to 12 here, it's 10 to 1. I know where you are. What is something you hope for you and your daughter as time goes on? What is something you would like to hope for in Macedonia?
Please say freedom. Tell me, God, all.
Oh my God. I really don't hope that a lot of things will change in this country. Not soon enough. So I hope, at least I hope my daughter will not live here.
Oh, she'll be back. I think what she was saying is that she hopes her daughter escapes because her Rose will come back on. Rose, if you're watching this, come back on. Rose's mum was a rescuer, and she saw her mum rescuing. She then became a rescuer. Her daughter's watching her mum doing this, so she's now, following in the footsteps. As a woman, Val, listening to that story, heartbreaking. And I hope that all the ladies that are watching this and people that are watching, realizing how lucky we are in our countries.
Yeah, I mean, if you ever want to feel sorry for yourself, look at someone in a different country, it doesn't even know about the rights you have because they've never had them. And I still think about, the people in North Korea, or, those people where their governments want to keep them back in the old ages.
Sorry.
Back in the past when they had all the control, and some of us were able to come out of that somewhat, and some more than others. There's way too many that are trying to hold it back where it used to be, instead of giving everybody the freedom and the rights that they deserve as a human.
And it is the basic right, as you say, as a human being, to be protected, to feel safe and secure in their own home. And you know, the thing is as well, I don't know much about Macedonia. Michael, have you been there? Have you seen it?
Yeah, she's talking about logistically going through Serbia. Serbia, pardon my language, but it's a fucking shithole. It's hard to travel through. I wish they had oil so we could come bring us some freedom. Every time I think I'm ready to retire and hang up the boots.
Did you see much of Macedonia?
Not, you know, good thing I didn't see a lot of it like she's talking about.
Same thing as Serbia, basically the same thing.
Yeah, it is. You know, and like I said, a lot of the countries that I saw, and people's talking about the pets or whatever, they don't have any value for human life, which like
let alone animals. Yeah.
And that's like in Honduras, El Salvador, Ecuador. You know, they will sell their daughters off to foreign men for pennies on the dollar for a pair of blue jeans. So, you know, they're not going to care about a stray dog or a stray cat. You know, it's a nuisance. And I always said society should be judged on how they treat their animals. And like I said, it's been a long time since Wendy has saw me as upset as I was earlier. You know, do
you feel like the women, if more women stood up for themselves in Macedonia, would it change?
They'd probably be stoned because it goes way back. And like you know, I didn't know Macedonia was considered a Christian country now because I know a lot of the Muslim cultures. If a woman has an opinion,
Albania is a Muslim country. I mean, they have a Christian part and a Muslim, but we are Christian, Orthodox Christian, always have been. We are not Muslim.
But I seen Ken tried to lighten the mood, bless his heart. KB's always got out the paddle. Said, would you save an old dog like Michael? And I can tell KB, they're tried. I'm beyond saving. I'm too set in my ways, never going to change. You know, every time a horse wants to hang up the saddle,
go Val.
I find another cause. And right now, I'm livid. You know, I just come off the farm today.
Do you think that if you got more women to speak up about things, that it would ever change? Or what do you think would have to happen for it to change?
It will certainly help if women were braver, but they're not brave enough because they do not have the right support. So when they feel that they've been left by the institutions that are there created to help them, they get discouraged and they think if I speak up, nobody will be able to protect me, and then I'm killed, which is true, which is happening. So I don't blame the women that are suffering in silence, but at the same time, that's even worse than being dead. For me, for example, I would rather not be alive than go through a life of abuse.
Well, it's a living hell, isn't it? Let's be honest. I mean, Val and I have been there in our own. It's a living hell, day in, day out, and to know there's nobody to call or to and I have to say that anyone who puts their hands on another person is the lowest form of scum, you know, and I mean that sincerely, because, you know, especially when I hear about beating the animals and poisoning them and shooting them. And I know hound dogs, I have a particular love for hound dogs. I know that if these dogs won't hunt or something happens, they shoot them, they hang them, they almost set them on fire. There's Henry. I'll show you a picture of Henry there, third one in.
Yes.
They throw them out on the street, they poison them. People don't realize that hound dogs, so you're talking things like beagles, Subuso hounds, bloodhounds, dachshunds, all kinds of, you know, hound dogs are badly treated. But some of the dogs you've got over there, they're just puppies, they're baby puppies. On the street, mum could have died, mum could have got poisoned. It's the same with the cats. And, you know, I sit and listen, and Ken will understand this. I watch Ken's show. and he'll talk about how people should in the United States, they should do this, they should do that. We've got the vote, we have the right to say things, we've got all this, that, and the other, like we have in the UK. And today we hear a story from someone who would really like that to happen, would really want that to change. And it doesn't matter how much you speak up, how much you try and change it. There is a higher power that says no, it's not going to change. This is the way it is. And so you're fighting against the system. And the fact that they won't even let you in the EU, which I'm not sure 100% if that's a good thing, but if it won't let you in the EU, is it says a lot. When I started Wicked Women and Val came on board, we said we wanted to make sure we had women from different countries and different backgrounds and different cultures to come on and join us, because what I go through in the UK and Val's been through, and what Caitlin goes through in Canada, you come from such a diverse background, like Macedonia. It's just like when I had that conversation with you, I got off the phone and I was like, I've got to have this woman. I said to Val, we've got to have this woman on this show. You are an inspirational woman. I'll let Val come with her point in a minute, but you are an inspirational woman. You have balls the size of Brazil, and you stand up in a man's world and you keep going. And I'm telling you, gal, all kudos and respect to you. And tomorrow or the day after, another animal, another dog, another cat is going to come. And I would ask everybody that's watching this show to please donate to the PayPal. And to join the Facebook page, Save the Stray Angels, and share her posts so that these beautiful animals have a chance of a home. And I just want to adopt them myself if I could. We're looking at roughly £400, something like that, £400-500 to adopt.
Depends on which company is driving them, because they have different prices, from 350 to 410 right now. And that doesn't go to the rescue. That's only for the transport and the travel certificates, CHEDA, and the export import taxes that we pay from in Macedonia and in the UK. And then on top of that, we have the whole preparation. So microchipping, vaccines. Somebody's saying microchip vaccines, the worming pills, spot-ons. Now we're testing for brucellosis, the young ones especially, and the older ones, they are tested for parasites, for different kinds of parasites. They have to be able to get into the country. So that is 150, and that goes on top of the transport. So it goes like it's 500 or 560. Depends on which transport company is driving. And I never ask for any of the money up front. I always tell my adopters to pay when they get their dogs or cats on delivery. And each of the people who are interested, I do video calls with them, as well as I did with Wendy, and that's how we met. And I show them their future cat or dog. They can see them, they can see how they are in real life, so to speak. So I try to be as transparent as possible. And so
and you were, literally, like when I had the call with you, there was just like, they were there. They were like, hey, they were just so happy to see you. And Kelly's asking, what is that in US dollars, Michael? Perhaps you can tell him what £400-500 is in US dollars.
You're probably looking about $800-900.
No,
so she said, she said 560.
pounds.
Between £400 and £500 is what in US dollars?
Money.
That would be what, between 5 and 6
No, right
something
now
like
we
that,
are only
or 7.
like 68 cents to the pound. The US dollars
Oh.
now right now it's garbage.
Okay. So it's how
Okay.
much for? No, it would be different for the US because
Yeah.
it's not the same transport,
Because it's going a
the
different
same
transport.
preparation. So it's 150 pounds in dollars. That would be what
Okay. I've got it right now.
250?
US dollars is okay. I'm building it. So you said 560 in euros.
No, 516 pounds. So pound
Pound.
$2.
500 pounds is $631.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's not the. I mean,
That's just to the UK. That's just to
that's
the
for the
UK.
UK. Yeah, for the
Yeah,
US, if
and
a
then
US
it would
person
be
wants
from
to.
then it would what be from from UK to US?
No. It doesn't go that way. The dogs will travel directly from Macedonia by plane. We will have to have volunteers that travel to the United States, and usually those volunteers already have their tickets bought, their plane tickets bought, and what we do is we add to the tickets, we add the price for the dog. If it's a small dog, small size under 8 kilos, it can go in the passenger area. If it's a bigger dog, then they go in the
Cargo
down
hold.
in the,
Cargo.
yeah,
Yeah. Down
in the
cargo.
cargo. They go in the cargo, and it's depends on the size and the air company, and the size of the animal and the air company. The prices are different, but it's not as much because we only pay for the fee for the animal. We don't pay the whole ticket. If we pay the whole ticket, it will be over $2,000, which is a nonsense. We cannot. I mean, it's ridiculous to. But if we only pay the part for the animal, then it's doable, and it can even be less than sending them to the UK. But that depends on where in the US these dogs or cats will be going, because most of the people who are traveling, their first stop is in Washington or New York. So
What's the money system in Macedonia? What's it called out there?
you mean our currency?
Yeah.
Denar. It's called denar.
How do you spell that?
I was going to ask Valerie how many pounds that was.
DENAR.
What?
How many pounds did you say it was?
How many pounds was what?
What you said?
500 or 560 for the UK.
Well, 500 was what,
60.
$629.
I'm getting right now.
Did you find the denar? Do you want me to spell it again?
DENAR. I can
Yes.
tell you that £20, if somebody sent £20 to yourself, it works out 1,451.83. That's a hell of a, that's, what will that buy you? What will that buy you?
That will buy me one bag of kibble, 15 kilograms of kibble, and that will last for a few days, for 3 or 4 days, depending on
Wow.
depending on the numbers of dogs that I have at the moment. Right now I have the most, and but yeah, that buys me a few days worth of food for all of them. Even the cats eat the dog kibble. So
Really? Wow.
yeah, they do. Well, when they're hungry outside on the streets, I feed them with whatever I have. So, and that's one of the reasons why I want them to be with me the shortest possible time, because I cannot afford to feed them with quality food. And
Yeah.
I do use supplements to boost the food, the poor quality of food, but I just don't want them to eat that and grow up with me and on the cheapest kind of brands. That's why I want them to be adopted fast.
Rose, when is the next delivery to the United Kingdom?
Well, I got the information that the next transport is in April 17th, and then afterwards, there's a change in regulations from DEFRA, so we are not sure when it will start, but it will be sometime mid-May or maybe at the beginning of May. I'm not sure.
What has
But
DEFRA done?
I don't know. I haven't checked. I just got the information a few hours before I came online, and I wasn't able to, check what is going to be changed. Maybe we will have more paperwork to go through because we're not in the European Union, so we have a lot more paperwork and more expensive certificates. And we're going through so many countries. So some countries ask for transit documents, like Serbia, for example. So we pay for transit documents, we pay for certificates, we pay the taxes, and that's all within those 410 or 350, depending on which.
So what do you think, Rose, when you see movies and people with their little dogs and they've got like their coats and they've got all the expensive gear, and you're going out and you're seeing animals outside in such a difficult, how do you keep that perspective, that balance?
You know what keeps me motivated? That my dogs, the ones that were starving on the streets and they were half dead when I found them, eventually I will see them in those coats and on those chairs and on those beds and spoiled rotten and given so many toys and quality food and being a center of attention. So that's where I that's what motivates me and keeps me going, and where I take my strength from, even in the darkest days. Even when I lose an animal that is dear to me, I always think of the ones that I have and that need me right now in that moment. And that's the biggest thank you for me. I don't need anyone to praise me or say, oh, you're here. When I see them happy and relaxed and living way better than people here, that's why I'm doing this. That's the best feeling in the world. So sometimes I even feel I feel so happy and content when I see a dog living better than the person who has dumped this dog or a cat. This person is maybe struggling in here, and I'm seeing them, and they're the discarded animals are living like kings. So it's like a karma instant, it's really gratifying to see them happy, and this is why I do it. In yeah, at the end, all the energy and trauma
And it's not
and
like
pain.
anyone can just come out and stay with you easily and give you a helping hand, does that?
Yes, I have a volunteer that is coming in May. Yeah, so he will be the first person that will stay for more than a day. I've had people visiting, but mostly to bring stuff to me and just have lunch or get a cup of coffee from the Netherlands, from Belgium, from the UK, from Romania, even from lots of countries, but not to stay and help. They would come visit, pet the animals, then leave, donate something and leave. But this time, this will be the first time that a person comes to help.
Would you, and is it possible that people could come over and help?
Absolutely, and it's really cheap for from the UK, especially. There are cheap flights that are like under £40 or something,
Mm-hmm.
a ridiculously cheap plane tickets. And yeah,
And I
here in
just have to
Sweden.
apply for a visa, don't I? You have to apply for a
No, no. You don't
visa?
have to do anything. Yeah, for
Wow.
you can come whenever you want. So for me, because I'm from Macedonia, I need a visa. I need a whole lot of background checkup. But for you, you can come whenever you want to. And people from the United States, but for them it will be more expensive because they will have to travel overseas. So it will be more expensive and more difficult. But again, anyone can come. Anyone can visit, even for a couple of days, for a day, whatever they want to. My doors are open. I really love visitors. That's one way to spread the word and show my work, show what I do, and how I live, and they can get uh, an insight of the way I live. And it's different when I am talking about it, and then different when you come here and see it by yourself.
Yeah.
So this man will come and stay for a week, and hopefully he will be able to bring
So
some
if I was to come from the UK, I could bring lots of goodies with me, and they'll be accepted fine.
Yeah.
Alexandra's asking, how would the logistics look like within the US upon arrival? So if an animal is brought over to the US, how would it be?
It depends on where in the US the dogs or cats should be delivered. Sometimes people who are closer to Washington and NY, because that's, as I said, that's usually the first stop from I think they go to 3 different stops in Europe, and then 2 or 3 different stops, and then they go to Washington or NY. So some people come to the airports and pick the dogs up themselves. Some people would want a closer delivery, closer to their country or whatever. And that depends on the volunteers, on the organizations that I will be contacting nearby, because I need to have a rescue backup. That's most important. If whatever happens to this person and they cannot keep the dogs or the cats,
Yeah.
I need to have a backup. I need to have an organization that will be able to step in if something, God forbid, happens. So the logistics will be done depending on where the dogs are going in the US.
Val, I mean, what's your thoughts? I know it's not often we get a show where you and I just basically just go, wow.
Yeah.
But
Well,
what's your
it's
thoughts?
interesting. It's interesting to see how she handles it. Every day, day in, day out. I know it has to be overwhelming at certain times, but I think you're handling it exceptionally well, and I really admire you for taking it on, taking that task on, because it is a large part of your life that is going towards this.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate it, and I thank you for doing that.
Thank you.
I mean, I really do. I wish more people did.
I do it for myself. It's for a selfish reason, because I feel useful, because I feel like my time and my whole existence is to help, help the helpless.
That's
And
not selfish. That's the opposite.
but I do it for myself, because that's the, I mean, that that's the reason why we're here, aren't we?
Yeah.
Here to help and to make the world better.
If only more people had that mental, view.
Sadly,
Michael,
people don't think that way towards their fellow man.
Listening to Rose, what's your coming from America, also, I'm obviously you and Val in the same Virginia. What are your thoughts on her work?
I think she's a real inspiration. Like I said, it's really touching to me. Like I said, these two ladies know me very well. And it takes a lot to get under my skin because I have seen a lot in my 52 years, good and bad. And I always said the worst animal on this planet was man.
That's true.
And that just reinforces it. I've got one back there asleep with one of the boys, and the other one sitting here on the love seat behind me snoring. Both of these dogs live incredibly well lives, as Wendy can attest to. They even when I forget to eat or feed myself, they always eat good. And just the struggle for women in Macedonia, when we can send all this money, I put that in the comments earlier, and that's Wendy, I hardly ever comment because I don't like typing. But all of this money they send to all these other places in the world, and they always talk about how much they're for human rights or animal rights or whatever, and ain't nothing being done to hold this corrupt nation in check. We got plenty. We're the biggest military in the world. It would not take much for a regime change. It would not. I used to be in a unit. They say 18 hours and or less in the world, we can bring democracy to a country near you. And a lot of times, I have a very different insight because I know there is a lot of corruption that happens through there. And I don't want to get you in trouble because I know a lot of your internet is monitored. People always talk about Big Brother here.
I'm just a small fish, so I won't get into trouble.
But like I said, I don't want to get you in trouble because I know a lot of the Eastern Bloc nations still have their thumb on their citizen, male or female. And when I hear people here bitch about, oh, I'm being kept down or and I've even gotten in trouble because I'm back in school full time now, and I say people want to be a professional victim when they don't even know what the fuck a victim really is, and it really, really tears me up. Yes. I come from a background where I saw domestic abuse firsthand, and when I grew up mean, and and I have softened some in my older years. The dogs have done that to me because, they want love and affection and they kind of demand it. But like I said, these people in the US or the UK or even Canada or, I've even seen, if the women don't like someone in Mexico, they pitch a bitch and it stops. And they consider that a third world country. And like you said, Serbia, Macedonia, and a lot of the countries over there, they have no idea how people are treated. And like I said, I saw it, and it really, really irritates me. It, like I said,
it's heartbreaking because as a woman, I my heart goes out to you, and I'd love to come over there, and I will.
Macedonia without me for security.
I will literally look into coming over there. I know it's getting late. I just want to play this video once more.
She wants to get my blood pressure up one more time.
These are all the lovely animals that are looking for a home before we end the show. Let's just bring on this lovely video. All these animals are looking for a home. They can be adopted in the United Kingdom or Europe or the United States or Canada. And if they look for your Facebook page, Save the Stray Angels, they will find you and they can talk to you about it. And surely somebody somewhere has got room on their bed, on their sofa for one of these little friends. a feeling that one of these are going to be winging their way to Saturn. I just have a feeling that one of them is going to be winging their way to Saturn.
Just a little feeling.
Maybe just a little feeling. Rose, we would love you to come back onto Wicked Women, to not just talk about this, but to talk about other subjects. You come from such a diverse background and culture. It would be amazing. And Val and I would love it if you would come back on.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah. I will.
And we will do an update on this show. Because I'd be interested to see if you get any feedback. It's going to be out there on YouTube. It'll be on my page. It'll be on Val's.
In my page as
Michael's,
well. Yeah.
as well. It'll be open to the public. And I would ask everyone again, please go to that PayPal. Please donate something, whether it's, $20, $20, $100, whatever it is, please donate, because there are right now, as we're talking in our very comfortable countries here, there are animals being beaten, shot, poisoned. It's really suffering with ill health. And it's like this lady is doing all she can, and like many other rescuers are out there, to make a difference. And Rose, you do make a difference.
Absolutely.
Very inspirational. She is,
Don't ever think you don't make a difference, because you do. And I am, you've got a friend for life now. And literally, like, the three of us, we're not gonna forget about you, and we will. Montana and Salem, the last two animals that you saw, the last two doggies, they're looking for a home. Are they like a German Shepherd breed?
They're gorgeous.
Could be. They look a little bit like shepherds, like German shepherds, but I think it's a whole lot of mix in them. I think they might have German shepherds. They might have Belgian Malinois. They might have a larger shepherd, like we have this breed called Mountain Shepherd, Charmountain Shepherd, and most of the dogs, when people adopt them and they do DNA tests, they come with guess what? Ovcharka genes and Chihuahua genes. So
Wow.
statistically, all of the dogs that are adopted have a little bit of Chihuahua in them, which is even the huge ones.
Yeah, I've kind of got a soft spot for shepherds. So.
Salem and Montana, they don't have a sponsor right now. I'll bring this up again. They don't have a sponsor, right?
They have one lady, Amanda, who is partially sponsoring both of them, but they're not fully sponsored. She's donating 35 pounds, I think, a month for both of them. But
I wonder if Wicked Women could, between Val and I, we could sponsor one of the doggies or whatever, because
35 pounds is $44.20 US.
So like
that's
between
for both
us,
of them. I need about 30 pounds per dog to cover the expenses of food and supplement. That's $76. So in general, it's that amount for every dog. The large ones like Ascan, they need a little bit more, but I don't up the price for sponsorship. It's like 30. That's fixed. And they're barking outside.
Is that a good thing? Or does that mean there's someone out there?
That means that the cats that are roaming free are just roaming around.
Do they get on with cats or your dogs? Are they all good with them?
Interesting thing, the cats that I feed for a longer period of times, even if they jump in the yard while they're outside, they're safe. And the cats that I had that passed through the rescue, they as you saw, a lady, she was a shepherd. I'm sure she was used for hunting, but she's amazing with cats, really tolerant. Most of my dogs love cats, but if a cat is on their territory, they might attack it. But that's not because they don't like cats. That's because they're it's in the dog's gene.
Nature.
to protect the space they live in. So even if it's another dog or a cat or any other animal, they might try to attack or at least bark at scare the cat. But to attack outside, no.
Well, I think we need a follow-up. Absolutely. We need to do a follow-up from this show, because I really hope that from doing this, because I want to get word out, and I went to Val straight away when I came off the phone when I met you, and I said, Val, we've got to do this show. And Val's got 10 cats. Is that right? You rescued?
No,
Six.
Okay.
She's got 6. And, you know, for me, it's a very hard story, because I lost my dog, and every day I miss him, and you see all these poor animals out there, and I wish I could give my home up to all of them. But I would like you to come back, and we will do a follow-up, and also come and join us on a few Sundays, because we talk about all different subjects. You know, as Ken likes to call it, the 3-letter word, sex, marriage, relationships, all kinds. And I would be very interested to see from your background, and you know, because we're here to educate other ladies, and this is obviously, you know, YouTube's open to the world. So I really hope that we've made a difference, even if it's just a small, and we can get a sponsor, some donations. If people want to send out a care package to you, you know, if you could put some information up on Save the Stray Angels Facebook page, so that we know what we're doing. If everybody could add you and liked that page as well, that would be good, because you share it as well. And I can tell you now, tonight Wicked Women went out on my Facebook, it went out on Val's Facebook, on Michael's Facebook, it went out on YouTube on the Wicked Women, it went under YouTube, The Dark Huntress, it was on Instagram under Wicked Women, and it was also on Twitter, or X as they call it now. It doesn't matter where it is, we wanted to get out as many people as we could, and I just want to thank everybody who's made a comment here tonight. Do you guys, before I end the show, do you want to say anything to Rose, Michael, and Val?
I think, you know, with our little Wicked Women family, which, you know, brings in Coffee with KB or Intrepid Radio, you know, I'm looking at right now, $60 is $75.75 US. There is no way in hell that we should not be able to pool our resources and do better than that as people, you know what I'm saying? And I'd like to put the challenge out there for somebody to reach out to me or Wendy or Val and say, hey, I've got this much money to put it in a pool to send to Rose, because she's doing great work. And if they've never been to Serbia or Macedonia or places like that, they do not know the battle that she's fighting. It is an uphill battle. She does not have the high ground.
I'm glad that you've visited and you know.
Oh, I know firsthand. And like I said, if I come back, it'll probably be an international incident, because I'm that pissed right now. Like I said, you know, it's been a long time since Wendy has seen me stuttering for words. It was broken, you know, because like I said, I'm pretty hard. And animals, you know, like I said, I don't want to see nobody bullied or mistreated. I got one behind me here snoring, as you can probably hear. And the other one has went to bed with the boys. I have 2 big old dogs in my home. They're both about 65, 70 pounds, which is like 35, 40 kilos. You know, they're big old dogs. And the one that I had was dropped off, and I did not want to get attached, because I do have a big heart. And when he said, Michael, get that dog out of that kennel and give that little bastard some love. And now he is an intricate part of my pack. Like I said, you seen him come in there. That's Wendy's dog. He's just in my care, because I got one dog, but I can justify it in here if it's somebody else's dog, and I just look after him. But, you know, treats, sleeps on my pillow, curls up behind me in the bed. You know what I'm saying? I got a medium-sized bed with 2 big-ass dogs.
I'm sure that between all of us, we can start up or do something with WW. There's enough here. We're here to support you. You're part of the family now. Val, what's your thoughts?
Well, like I again want to thank you for doing and keeping up what you've been doing. I know a lot of things are easy to start, and then when it gets hard, kind of dwindles off, but you've kept it
Oh,
up
please.
and you've saved, you've been able to save animals that wouldn't have, wouldn't have been able to be saved.
That was tossed
Nobody
away.
else would have saved them if you hadn't. And I do want to thank you for that. And yeah, I've got 6. They're rescues. So,
Yeah, both of
you
them.
know,
Yeah.
I think it's just, I
It's
think you
kind of
came
like
to,
numbing, isn't it, for us to
yeah,
say where we come from.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we're similar souls
Kindred
that
spirits.
we feel that way about animals, and perhaps that's the reason, you found your way on the show.
Yes.
They say you meet people for a reason. There's and obviously, I always wanted to open a home saying Henry's Home for Hounds, and have as many as I could possibly afford, which in the UK at the moment there's not that many. But Mina and Socks and Ollie and Salem and Montana, they're just the 5 I remember. There's also Lady, and who's the big dog with the ear that was down in the video? Big brown doggy.
Those are half Malinois dogs.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the whole litter of 5 was up for adoption, but because they're half Malinois, they are not wanted. Not a
Really?
lot of people interested in. Yes, which is strange. They are still not your typical Malinois. Some have inherited the traits and the genes, and
Wow.
some, because they're half, are completely, they don't even look like Malinois and don't act. They're not hyper energetic and stuff like that, but they're difficult to rehome, to get adopted. So those stayed for 2 years, maybe not 2, but
Wow.
1.5. Lady, because she has leash for 3 years.
Is
I
that
have
like
two
mange?
dogs. I have 2 dogs that are not on the
No,
picture.
leash is leash, just so you can explain what that
Leishmaniasis.
is. What is
Yeah,
that?
leishmaniasis is a parasite that
So
is
it's like a mange.
no. That's a parasite that is transmitted from
Mosquito?
no, a sandfly, but
A
similar to
sandfly.
mosquito. So the sandfly bites the sick dog, and they bite the healthy dog, and that's how it gets the healthy dog gets infected, and it's not permanently curable, but it can be managed. It can be managed, and they can have healthy and long lives. Um, but it's a parasite that stays in the blood forever. However, there are ehrlichiosis, anaplasmosis, Lyme that are curable with 30 or 60 days of antibiotics, and that's all it takes. Um, but dogs with non-curable diseases or any disabilities are, of course, more difficult to place. It's not impossible, but it's a struggle. I have 2 dogs that are not tame enough. One has been bitten by people so much that he is with me for a year and a half, and he still doesn't let me touch him. He's a hound. He's a large hound. He's beautiful. I can walk him off lead, but I can never touch him. And he has a chance to be adopted in a shelter in Bulgaria run by a German lady who has kindly offered a space for him to be roaming free in her sanctuary. And she specifically targets large shepherd dogs because those are most difficult and discarded, and usually difficult to get them adopted. So he has been offered a place there, but it will take a lot of money for me to, because I have to fund all of this by myself.
You got to get in there, so you need to raise money for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I need to raise 500 euros to be able to transport him, to pay for the transport from Macedonia to Bulgaria, all the certificates, and of course I have to sedate him and neuter him, and
They
I
don't
will.
normally let them fly when they're sedated now. They don't
No,
sedate them.
no. Sedate him when I'm
Oh,
supposed to
oh,
put
I
him
see what you're
good.
saying. 500 euros is about 427 pounds,
Yeah.
and works out about
I know.
539 US dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Kian also said he would talk about this on his show. He does morning coffee at 9 o'clock every morning. He said he would put it on his show, and I will as well on Saturdays.
Okay.
We're a small family, but we grow. And before I end the show, I want to remind everyone to go to watch KB, his show Monday to Friday on Facebook. Ken Ballos, Castle by the Roadside. Coffee with Ken. It's quite the entertaining show. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with Scotty Roberts on Intrepid Radio, and Tuesday nights with me in Robertson. We return finally this week. We're returning. I know Scotty was interested to. He couldn't be here today, but he was interested to know how this one went because he talked about this to me earlier on a Tuesday night. Robertson from 10 o'clock UK. And
5 o'clock Eastern.
That's it.
4 o'clock.
And then my lovely partner in crime, Val, has her show on a Saturday night, Myth, Legends and Paranormal, or something like that. In that, and 7 o'clock, isn't it? Is it 7 o'clock
7
your
o'clock
time?
Saturday night.
Which works 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Works around about midnight our time.
Yeah.
And Wicked Women will be back. As I said, we had a sabbatical due to me not being well. We will be back next Sunday, and I can honestly say, out of all the shows I've done, I don't know about you, Val, but of all the shows I've done, this show is probably meant so much to me. And I think you and I have just sat there listening. We could listen to you forever.
But I will get the links and everything, and that way I can put them on my Facebook page and my show as well. So.
And we hope to see you. I mean, listen, I know you've got to go to bed because you're exhausted. You've got to go up for all those dogs and your daughter in the morning. But you are one amazing woman. You're part of our family. We will stay in touch with you. Please let us know. And for somehow, ladies and gents, we have to get sponsors for those beautiful dogs, Montana and Salem. And there's Ollie and what are the other names? Give us some of the other names that need a sponsor.
Delilah, a lot of them have no sponsors. I can,
put some photographs up on your page. Put up a photograph saying needing sponsor.
Yeah,
Need sponsor because
I will create the next post that will be on my page. It will be of the dogs that need sponsorship, that are not sponsored at all or only partially sponsored, so they need a little bit more to be able to, I need a little bit more to be able to buy the food for them.
And we'll have a look and see if we can get this a web page or something up. In the meantime, if everyone wants to send a PayPal to Angel's Choice NL at gmail.com, right? Okay, everything helps. So, ladies and gents, it's been lovely to talk to you. Thank you so much for joining us, Val. Love you lots. Michael,
love you back. And Rose, I thank you so much again.
Honestly, Rose, you've taken us to our heart. I'm just trying to find it. I almost don't want. I'm not going to end with the usual Wicked Women. I'm going to end up one more with a video because I want them to have the maximum. Somebody out there, please give a home to these beautiful dogs. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will see you again next Sunday. God bless you, Rose. Bye, guys.
Bye.